Is there one particular diet that the medical profession is behind in that whole group, like Weight Watchers and Down?
Well, I mean, it depends if you're talking about, I don't use the term diet. I like, your approach to food.
Okay.
And I love the Mediterranean diet. The word diet's on there. Whenever someone hears the
That's
word
one with
diet,
the wine, right?
they think, yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I like that.
Bet
one.
you love it to be.
But it's an approach that I think is very livable. You're not going to lose weight unless you add portion control as a part of that.
Right.
But if you do, it's really good for your heart. It's something
DASH
that's
diet
that's
is another good one.
Yeah, I mean, U.S. News came out with their top diets, and the DASH diet.
One.
Yeah, which is an approach to preventing or reducing high
Your
blood pressure.
So that really wasn't intended as a diet to lose weight. That's
No.
just sort of a
Right.
And
byproduct.
they ranked as their number one weight loss diet, Weight Watchers, and there because it's a rigorous system that people, as long as you're following the rules, and there are a lot of rules, a lot of people have had sustained weight loss over that. But the question is, can you maintain that over the course of your life? I don't know.
But both of these diets that we're talking about, the Mediterranean and DASH, what are the principles? Well, it's a lot of fruits and vegetables. It's lean proteins like fish and chicken and lentils, and it's lots of whole grains. So, and healthy fats, nuts and seeds. So you see a lot of overlap. And also when you look at successful people and some of the patterns and what they're doing, this is the way that they eat.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting too, from the Joy Fit Club and personally, people that I've worked with that are super successful, what I tend to notice is they repeat a lot of meals. They like repetition. So, there's not a ton of variety. They tend to have 3 go-to breakfasts, 3 or 4 go-to lunches. They order a lot of the same for dinner when they go out and when they make it home. So I think variety is sometimes overrated when it comes to losing weight. Stick with a few go-tos. Get comfortable with it, they'll feel safe, and the weight's going to come off.
I see that all the time with my clients. They're like, is it okay to just eat the same things and just kind of rotate them?
We've had that conversation.
Yeah, and I said it's fine as long as
We're
you're
creatures of habit.
Exactly,
And as long as the same things have enough variety that you're getting the vitamins and nutrients
Of
you need.
course.
What is a healthy weight loss? I mean, I know it's going to vary from somebody who's very, very overweight, might lose a lot more in the beginning, but what's a healthy weight loss?
It is going to vary tremendously
Right.
because if somebody is a binge eater before or they're incredibly overweight, they can lose in the first week easy 10 pounds.
That's really fat?
Well, there's a lot of water.
Right.
A lot of water comes off with it. But I think after the first few weeks, which will have a lot of variation, anywhere from half to 3 pounds.
That's what usually I would see.
In a week?
I mean,
Per week. Anywhere from
usually
half
think
a
about
pound to 3 pounds.
1 to 2 pounds a week over the long term.
Sustainable,
Is
and that's
sustainable.
definitely sustainable.
And some weeks you'll stay the same, and some weeks you'll lose 2.
Right.
And is it harder to lose certain areas of fat over others? Like I've reached that point of 60 where suddenly, where's this belly coming from?
Yeah.
And everybody talks
I hear
about
you,
that. And
sister.
that well, please, I'm going to hit you.
But that's my spot.
Yeah,
That is
okay.
my
But that
spot.
tends to be in older women, or as we age, that's where the fat accumulates?
I mean, there are different body types. You talk about the apple and the pear, and you are genetically predisposed to a certain body type, and people will put fat on in different places. Certain diets are put forward as this will lose weight in a certain area.
Not true.
Yeah.
It's not
You
true.
can't target.
It's
Yeah.
not
You
true.
can-
I just think,
But
just medically, how does that happen?
And usually when you're sitting around like family gatherings, you can look around the table and see who you take after because we tend to,
Yeah, it's
have the
genetic
same
in some
shapes. Absolutely.
There's
But
no
the good
spot
news
reduction.
is when you're eating less and you're moving more, you will burn fat off of your whole entire body and eventually it's coming off of your problem area. It might not totally go away, but you will have a smaller version of what you started out with.
I don't have large breasts to begin with, but that's where I tend to lose my weight first. I'm thinking, why is that?
A little rip off.
Yep, I know.
Total rip off. We are also so used to as dieters this whole yo-yo effect. Is that because of dieting?
I think a lot of it is that it's because people are not making these lifestyle changes that are sustainable.
They'll set a goal
Yeah.
and then they get it, then they get unmotivated and then they go back into
For
the normal
swimsuit season, I want to get down to this weight, and I'm there, and then boom, I'm rewarding myself and going back to some of the old
You
habits.
not only go back very often, you go higher.
You do.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
it's like,
And also, I think you set up this binge eating
Yeah.
system. You know, you're
Too
so
restrictive.
restrictive and you start fantasizing and dreaming over what you want to eat, and then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. Here's what I think is the key to being successful when it comes to losing weight: forgiving your slip-ups. We're human. We're going to fall off the wagon, even health nuts like the three of us here. When that happens, you have to shake yourself off and get right back on track the very next meal or the very next day. You know, you don't gain 10 pounds by eating a slice of pizza or like a decadent fettuccine Alfredo. It's when you let that one chocolate chip cookie turn into a whole hog binge, and then you binge the next day and the next day, or you start fresh on Monday and it's only Tuesday.
Right.
You know, then you got a whole week ahead of you of bad eating. So don't wait till January 1st. Don't wait until, you know, some sort of anniversary. Start today, and when you slip up, shake it off and get right back on. That's when you're going to be successful.
You know,